Hey there, Nomads Lore. I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Sean.
And together we are Mead and Mischief, your home away from no home. Today we're going to be ranking the character changes in the Amazon's Wheel of Time show. So what's this whole video about, right? We're going to talk about the characters and obviously the characters and how they differ between the show and the books. And we're going to talk specifically about whether or not these changes that the show has done to these characters are good or bad, and compare that to how the books went. There are some characters on here that are not in the book, but we are going to talk about them based on how well they are filling the role that they are in the show, and compare that to the books. Specifically, Dana is a dark friend. She's not in the books, so we'll talk about her based on how good of an introduction she is to dark friends, that kind of thing. So, spoiler level will probably be somewhere sitting around book 3 at the latest. For the most part, it's going to be book 1. So if you're terribly worried about spoilers, you might stay off it, but I don't think there's going to be too much at all. And if we do anything further than that, we will definitely let you know and give you a timestamp when you can come back in. So let's get started.
All right. So the biggest struggle with these, that I'm looking at the first one we're talking about, was Alana. The biggest struggle with some of these is going to be disconnecting our later book knowledge from our early book knowledge. And some of it we have to take later book knowledge into account, kind of. But
because they don't show up until later, or
not well, because Alana and trying to avoid spoilers, of course, right now, and I don't know what Jonathan's, if he's going to agree with me or not. Right now, honestly, even though I really enjoy her characterization I wouldn't put her above on par with the book. I might even put her on passable, but I think that's more me trying to think about later information. So I think based on, because she's not in the books either in the first book at all or barely or whatever else. So
yeah, I say on par with the book. I like her a lot.
Yeah,
but a lot of that is later book knowledge.
Well, and her characterization writing is really
exactly
good. Yeah,
exactly.
Right
her as an actress, she's phenomenal. Yeah, go ahead and put her up there. Let's do that. And if we disagree, we're gonna figure that out.
Fight
whenever.
About it. Get some switchblades. Something.
Alrighty.
So Aram, where are you feeling about Aram?
Okay, so their whole. I don't know, that whole story arc, as far as I'm concerned, is pretty weak in the show. But I think a lot of that has also to do with Perrin and what's going on with the wolf stuff in the books around that, because I really enjoyed all of that in the books, but I think a lot of it is because of what Perrin's going through. And there's, Aram and Egwene have kind of a little love interest thing in the books,
kind of
a little bit, and so I don't know.
I would put it
pretty
weak, below the middle tier.
Exactly.
I don't know that it's his garbage tier.
No,
but
I'd say either passable or need. I actually would say needs some work.
I agree. Yeah. I think that especially because
remember, we're not rating him as an actor,
or even the character. I mean, there's potential in the future for some of these. This is as of season 1,
because I really like him and what he's done with the character and what with the little bit of stuff that he's gotten to do,
which is part of Aram's thing. Well, and my biggest issue, and the reason why I'd say he needs to go in and need some work, is that some of the things that I think that they should have kept in the show, some of his like flirtatious stuff with Egwene and whatever else, and some of those, kind of being more the fun side and the temptation sort of young temptation with the Tinkers. They could have put that in there, and it would have added flavor to the Tinkers that we're not getting.
You know what else it would have helped is the scene with Egwene, the high school drama scene at the end.
It could have,
because
added more layers.
Because
to that.
It would have, because Egwene could have been kind of having this romance thing, and then Perrin could have stepped in. Really, not because he's in love with her or anything, but because he wants to protect her from people he doesn't understand.
Right.
There could have been a lot of layers
that
could have been done
with
him.
And it could have, and the biggest thing, this is kind of, I didn't make the point real well, is you could have done most of that, pretty much all of that, in the same amount of time that they did spend with him.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have had to take more time
exactly.
or budget or anything else. So yeah.
Exactly.
That was a long way to say he needs some work.
Yep.
So Dana, we really like Dana.
Whoop.
Goofy.
And if you don't like that,
then I'm wrong.
You're wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
So she's either top tier or second tier. She's either on better than the book or on par with the book. And I think I can be, if you're serious, I think I can be okay with putting her on better than the book. And here's why. Is what she does in the very, very limited amount of time accomplishes what it takes Robert Jordan chapters to accomplish.
Yep.
As far as understanding the fear of dark friends, and dark friends could be anybody and whatever else. And it's very much a show don't tell thing. And of course her acting is phenomenal. And so I think that's good.
My reasoning also, I mean, I agree with what you're saying, but my other reasoning for putting her there is there are a few scenes throughout the whole first season that give me goosebumps, that make me go, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And 99% of those scenes, or whatever that it would actually be, but most of those scenes, with the exception of this one, are all scenes that I read in the book and wanted to see brought to life.
Oh, okay. I got you.
But this one, when she said the braid, when she talked about the braid, and I think the braid was too far, or whatever she says,
right,
was just like, oh my gosh, she's bad. Like and it gave me goosebumps because it was like, oh, she's a dark friend, and all the implications that went along with it.
Yeah.
So yes.
So she's a tricky one to put on this goal because she's not in the book, but I think that's strong.
And I think we base it all based on her, basically that she's base. I don't know what's my deal, but that she's the introduction to a dark friend. Yeah. And in my opinion, that's at least on par, if not a little bit better. So keep her up there.
So Eamon Valda, the biggest thing to say about him right now is two things. That he does is he is a merging of at least a couple characters, probably multiple, and many of which lead to spoilers. And so we're gonna kind of keep our discussion of him vague. So this one's a struggle for me personally. I don't know what your thoughts are, because there's two things here. There's two, and one of them has to do with book knowledge, and relatively-ish early book knowledge. Is one thing that he does in the show that is really, really nice. Is he really early, episode 2, right? Or is it 3? 2. Episode 2. Yeah. He brings a evil, we'll see as time goes on. I don't know that even us book readers really fully know completely where that's going to go. Definitely morally gray, to say the very least, if not downright evil. Character that, as far as we can tell, is not a channeler, is not anybody like that, and so it's not that kind of person. He doesn't look like he's a dark friend right now. That would be crazy, right? But as far as what we've seen in season 1, so he adds that. The problem with Eamon Valda, in my mind, and I don't know what you're thinking about this, is he paints a picture of the White Cloaks that I think is not particularly representative of all of the White Cloaks. Now he could setting him up and then adding that layer, kind of like something you were talking about with another thing. We could see some more of those layers as time goes by, and so there's potential there. So I'm struggling with where to put him, because I think in some ways what he does is on par with the books, but I don't know if what he does is for White Cloaks. So I don't know. That's why I'm kind of struggling with where I think he should go.
I kind of agree. I get what you're saying about the other White Cloaks and but they even kind of touch on that in the show a little bit. I mean, true. There's care for people. Even Eamon Valda, he was very skeptical of the people. Obviously, he thought she was a channeler, which he was completely right. But anyway, there was care for them and making sure that they got taken care of, and even somebody saying, "Go see an Aes Sedai," which was okay, whatever. But anyway, but it just showed, like, I don't know. I agree with you, but I think he's
top 3 of some sort, somewhere in the top 3 places.
I would say passable.
Okay.
I would put him at passable.
And I really love him in the show.
Yeah,
and so again,
I do too.
I won't keep repeating the same thing. That's one of my favorite characters in the show right now, as far as scary, non-channeling, non-dark.
But we're talking about the changes that
Yeah.
surround him and the things that he
we,
makes.
we laid out all the thoughts.
Yeah.
So there it is.
Yep.
So Egwene, where are you thinking with Egwene as far as?
She's hard because of later book knowledge. She's really hard for me because she gets to be so amazing, and she is good in these first episodes. You just don't get to see a lot of it. The episode 4, I believe, when Perrin gets strapped or cut.
Is it 4? Yeah, I think it is 4.
4 or 5. Yeah, no, 4.
No, it's 5.
5.
It's 5.
Yeah. Anyway, that scene where she kind of stands up to Eamon Valda, that's her to a T. And so honestly, I think she's pretty much on par with the books.
I'm in complete agreement. I think she's
I don't think
right
there's
at this point in the book. She's right where she ought to be. I'm loving her portrayal right now. I think Madeline Madden's doing an amazing job. She's capturing some of the early innocence and hopefulness of Egwene really, really well. And so, I think she's doing phenomenal.
All right.
So Isla.
Yep.
I don't honestly remember her in the books. I think she is in the books.
Yeah.
And so I don't care where we put her.
Her as a character and her, and I don't really know what changes were made, actually.
I don't either.
But I do know the changes that were made to the Leaf people were not that great, in my opinion. I feel that whole thing is a little bit weak. So I would say she goes.
I do like what it does with Perrin, and
yes.
I do like, based on the show. We'll get to talking about Layla in a minute, but and that'll inform some of this a little bit more. But I like with the show changes. I like how they play.
What it helps. But so what do you think? Passable.
Passable's fine. I don't know that I would say needs some work. But yeah.
All right.
So the dark one. The dark one.
The dark one. Yes. Non-spoilery, right? The dark one. So
this is a little tricky, isn't it?
We haven't seen enough of him to know how much he's changed, but he's phenomenal. Well, I say that. So, I would have to say he's at least on par.
I don't know if I can say that.
Really?
Because and hear me out.
Okay.
Don't get the switchblade out yet. But because specific and I've gone on record multiple times talking about the dream sequences, but we don't get as much of the calculating, as much of the other stuff. And so because of the changes that they made to him earlier in the season, I'm sure it wasn't even the same actor. I don't remember what the actor's name. I'm sure it was some random stuntman or nobody. It may have been all CG doing the
thing that he did with
whatever else
with Egwene.
Scary jump scare man. And I mean, what we saw was good. Was really strong.
If we go on base just
episode
8 and then he's at least on par, if not better.
Yeah,
but I agree. I
don't know if I would go better, but I would go on par.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would say he's on par with the book because of the season as a sequences.
Whole. Okay,
and it's because we don't see the
I'll
the depth
that.
there.
So passable.
I think passable is where I would say.
All right. Karina.
So Karina, yeah. I think
I don't even remember her from the books.
I don't either, honestly. I mean, I don't remember whether she dies or doesn't die, to be honest. So Raffo, I guess, as I reread it and whatever else, and y'all either whatever. But I do think the one thing that she does that is really helpful early at this point in the book is she is the very, very, very beginning of Tower politics stuff. I think that's interesting. As a device of letting her another woman that we meet and then she gets killed to move the plot for other people. I don't really know how I feel about that, especially since they did it in episode 1. I could definitely say at least passable. But is more screen time makes a character better than the book? I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do you think what are you thinking? What are you?
Yeah, because I don't remember so much. She's tied to so many things that I didn't like about the show. It makes me want to put her lower.
Like what?
But at the same time, well, there's just all of the time that was spent on her and the death and the burial and the burial and all the things.
Death, burial, and resurrection. Oh wait,
death and different book. So I don't know. I definitely think it's like probably passable or maybe. Well, I don't know, because we're talking about changes. So she's actually known and she has a valid reason for being around. She does show
except she has a valid reason, which is to die.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd say we put her in
passable
and
or even needs. Yeah, just do passable for now.
Yeah,
we might move her. Okay,
Lady Amelisa. I don't remember her in the book at all. I think if we were talking about episode 7, and we were even talking about beginning of episode 8, I could put her in passable or even better than the book. Because I don't remember in the book. I don't think she was even a channeler in the book, and so I liked that little.
Oh, she's very small in the book. Yeah.
Some of the things that they did with her are questionable at best. I'm not sad that she's dead in the show. I know that's after I just got through saying we introduced a new character and then she's there to die.
Third time's a charm.
So. I don't know. Passable, needs work.
I'm gonna say needs some work. Honestly,
that's fine
because of the ending. I think she as a character is good, and I think her as an actress.
If she wouldn't have died, then she probably would be better because there was potential there.
Yep.
That's
all right.
Layla. So
Layla. So the one we were thinking we were going to disagree on. But basically, I think that I know a lot of you are going to disagree. I know a lot of you do disagree with this thought, but I think that Layla is a very good change for Perrin. I don't think it's better than the books. I think that it's about on par with what was done in the books. I think it's a good way to get the sad, quiet in himself Perrin that we have, and an accelerated way to do that. So I would say on par, and maybe.
I don't know if I would say on par, but the trick is, and see, this is where it's a little bit tricky, is because I don't know, and it could have been a different character, but we're not even talking about that. We're talking about specifically about Layla, but her as a fridged woman device to accelerate Perrin's growth. The trick with Perrin is how I'm sure they thought through the same thing, is how else, and they probably had other ideas, but how else are we going to get Perrin to where he is visually? Mm-hmm. And it's a struggle. So
much internalizing and all the things.
And there's so much there. And so I definitely, so here's what I want to say, for sure, that I definitely do not like this way of doing it as much as I like the way it's done in the book.
Okay.
I just don't know if I have a better solution. So because of that, I can put it at least passable or maybe even on par, because I don't know if I have a better, I'm not even talking, not even getting into it could have been somebody else, or could have been Master Luhan or whatever else. Not not even.
Well, that's,
like her as a stand-in for that whole idea, like him killing.
I think
whatever.
There's so many things that it makes impactful in the show. Like the scene, if it had been Master Luhan, I don't think the scene with Egwene later on would have been as impactful, in my opinion. Like
that's definitely possible.
You killed Master Luhan on accident. Okay, well, no, you didn't. It's okay. Oh, you killed your wife. It's okay. I don't know. I just think the emotional tie in that scene would not have been near as great.
Sure.
So I'd say on par.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see passable as well. I'm fine with that. I don't think it's better than the books by far. I think the books did a fine job with Perrin. Now,
I think early Perrin was one of my favorite characters. Maybe my favorite character.
That's a good
in
point.
The books.
That's a good point. But it is,
I think, So Lan is one of the most changed from the book in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. He's still stoic Lan. He's not, he's not Mr. Smiley as a lot of people try to say. He's not gone way off into the joke cracking crazy man. And as many people have pointed out in books, like book 2, he does make a joke, laugh, and whatever else. He jokes with Rand and whatever else. I think it's because in book 1, especially, we're in Rand's POV, and he is like intimidated and awed by Lan, and so sees him a lot icier than he even
really is
later. Yeah. So it's not as bad as what some people are saying, but he is definitely not as stoic as he is in the book. I think that's still fair to say. I don't think he's better than the books. I could honestly go on par personally.
I can too, and I so far like Lan from the show as well as Lan in the books.
Yeah,
they're two different people.
Yes,
and the change is whatever you can feel, however you feel about the change, but I really like and the Malkiri stuff, him and Nynaeve stuff. The acceleration of all that, I don't know. I think it's on par. I say that. What do you think?
I think I agree.
Okay,
I said that.
I know you.
Okay. So Leanne, I don't know if that's actually how you pronounce her name, whatever her name is, but Leanne is how I would pronounce it. We saw her make a grunty face and go. I mean, at this point in the book, she's not done much either. But I'd still, we can put her in need some work because you could probably say on par with the book.
Garbage tier?
I don't know.
All right, who is this?
LTT, Lose Better and Tell 'em On.
Oh yeah,
he's in. Okay, so here's where it gets tricky. So comparing what we got of him to the prologue of the Eye of the World, he's needs some work or garbage tier.
That's the truth.
I like that prologue. I like that cold open, and I do like what it did. But when you compare it to that, he's definitely
at least.
I mean, again, I did like that cold open. I like what they did with it. But
okay, we'll put him in needs some work.
Looking at changes, I might even put him in garbage. Honestly, Leandrin, she's not much in Eye of the World, of course. But she's, from what we've seen, comparing, we said spoilers through book 3-ish or so. And so I think she's probably on par with the book, maybe even better, because she's doing a phenomenal job, and we're getting a lot of depth there.
You get a lot of, she does exactly what she's intended to do, which is to show you the reds. Yeah. And to show you, not all of them, obviously, and they all have their own feelings. It's not like she's the only one, but she gives you a good feeling for a red that dislikes men who can channel, or at least is fearful
even with something
of
weird
them.
Going on with some other man, whatever else.
Yep. So I would say
at least on par, if not better. Yeah. Honestly, I think I might even put on her better.
Better? Okay, I'm all right with that.
I think Logain is easily better, but mostly because of what we've seen of him, and what we've seen of him has been incredible. I doubt you're going to disagree with. He's been one of your favorites.
Nope. He's Logain.
There's and it's still a lot of the essence of what we of book Logain, but we get so much more of it, and it's been great, and we're totally here for it. So Loial,
we're definitely not putting him on par. I
passable or needs some work. I definitely wouldn't say garbage tier. I know some of y'all will disagree. I know there's some hardcore show loyal haters, but.
If we go with the changes as far as visually, he's definitely in the needs some work category.
Well, I would say it. Yeah, passable. I'd say more his character right now because of the limited amount we've seen with some of his more fun side and softer side and whatever else. I'd say that personally for me is more in the needs some work tier, and so
I think we do that.
Yep, that's fine. Agelmar.
Egelmar, the Crow Man.
So changes again. Looking at changes,
I would look at his armor.
Yeah,
I mean his.
If you look at his look, he's pretty cool looking.
He's freaking awesome.
Yeah, I would say passable.
Yeah.
I might even say needs some work. Because there are several aspects that we're missing that I think would be really good and would have been nice. And some that, again, kind of like what I said with whoever it was, Aram. There are some things that we didn't get, like him actually having respect for Aes Sedai that we could have got in the time frame we had.
Yeah,
and whatever else. I mean, some people were saying that they made him a jerk, or I think they said an idiot, which that's I don't.
No, I don't think they did that. Yeah.
So Matrim Cauthon. At this this is very important. At this point, basing Matrim Cauthon to Eye of the World Matt, I'd say he's better than the book.
Yeah,
I think that's easy.
Now he did leave some to be desired because he left.
Yeah,
and
but
episode 7 and 8, there was the one scene in 8. We weren't wrong. He was in episode 8.
Yeah, he was.
We were right.
We were right.
We weren't right about
we
7,
were, and we were right early, even with everybody else saying, no, it's never gonna happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Pot on Fane was in episode 7. And the trifoil leaf that I was complaining about. Anyway, okay. Sorry. I'm going back.
Showmen. We love showmen. I wonder what I'm going to let you talk first.
Yeah. Yes. Love showmen. Shows so much about what men is and who men is. We don't get men. We get a little bit of men in the, what city is that in? It's a White Cloak City, right?
And
not White Cloak City, but
Bear Lane is a person. What is the Barrelon?
Is that right?
Sure.
We're going to go with it. There's a city on the way that they go through that Moiraine stops and they sit with men, and she talks about all of them. And you find out lots of things in the book. You don't find as much in the show. Okay.
Keep going.
Yep. So I feel like we got all of that. So in my opinion, she's on par. Well, okay. Minus the few things we're
missing a fair amount. We saw it sorta, but in my opinion, we're missing some of the more playful side of her and even the flirtatious side.
We are missing the flirtatious
side. I mean, we got
a tiny bit of her playful.
We got snarky.
Yeah,
but I mean, I don't think she's quite on par.
I agree.
But
I agree.
She's really good. I like her a lot.
I guess I'm like thinking that I'm thinking they're going to nail her. They just haven't had enough time to show
I suspect you're probably right.
Yeah,
if we go and redo this list season 2, 3, she may be better than the book, whatever else, probably so.
Moiraine.
So Moiraine. Moiraine's a tricky one. Moiraine supposedly is the main character, and everybody keeps saying that, but after watching the whole season, I'm not sure that I remotely agree with the fact that she is the main character of this season. I think the show was the ensemble show that Rafe wanted it to be, which I think is a brilliant choice, by the way. I think that's, based on where we're going with the show in the future, ensemble is the only way to go. But what we saw of Moiraine, if I was basing it on only episode 6, I would say she's on par with the book from that narrow window. The rest, I don't know. She's kind of all over the place a little bit. And so we get a lot of her mystery stuff.
She plays Deus Damar amazingly well.
She does. Again, like if we're looking at, especially in episode 6, she nails Moiraine there. But I don't know. What are you thinking?
I feel like we get a lot of fear surrounding her from the 4 or 5 that come with her
in the books or the show.
In the show, we have a lot of we have the weird spot where she kills the ferryman and she's got all this stuff, and I feel like that was definitely there.
Grand hollering at her and
and we definitely get some of that in the books, but that is pushed by other characters. Honestly, in my opinion, like. Thom does a lot of that. A lot of that buildup for her being possibly evil.
We get a lot. I mean, starting at the beginning, I mean, that's a big deal of like in Emond's Field, especially in some of our framing chapters, we get that Aes Sedai are evil, which we don't remotely get in the show.
Yeah.
And whatever else. We get,
That's true.
this, they're more respectful and like,
They're just feared in general because they don't know anything about them, basically.
Well, and I mean, and then.
So I guess it is on par. I mean, but I don't know.
So the biggest issue with her, and I think
because it's hard for me.
I think it's time. I think she almost more than any other character, and this is maybe a stretch to say, but I think she even though she was the main character, whatever, main name for sure, Rosamund Pike, but I think her character in the show suffers a lot from not having enough time to see her and develop, and see her with Rand more, see her with Egwene more, see her and whatever
That's
else.
True.
But I think from what we got and the characterization, I think I could maybe go with on par.
Yeah, that's why it's hard for me. Her characterization and the way she was played, phenomenal.
Well, let's roll with it.
It's on par with the books.
She should be up there with Leanne anyway. That makes sense.
There you go.
So Nynaeve,
20
isn't
minutes
it?
of our episode into talking about Moiraine.
Yeah,
it's good.
So this one, and I think we're in agreement. This one, again for the 50 bazillionth time, comparing Nynaeve right now in the show to Nynaeve in Eye of the World. She's better than the book.
Oh my gosh, yes.
With one exception, in my opinion, and that is her justification for chasing after the folks, because I think that is far and away. And I was actually just watching a video
chasing after
chasing after Moiraine and Lan who have kidnapped
that one scene.
And not just the scene. Like I mean, the scene in the show is kick butt and cool, right? But her reason for doing it is, I mean, because in the show, she's got a whole town full of injured people, and who are needing help and whatever else, and she's off with a trolley. Why didn't she just go home in the show? Why didn't she just go home? There was no reason for her to not go home, take care of her own wounds and everybody else's. In the book, that time had passed, people were doing better and getting healed, and all that stuff was being dealt with, and we get to see an awesome bit of Nynaeve's character of her being like, okay, you people are taking too long. Bye. I'm going to go deal with this problem.
Yeah.
And these people that have kidnapped our kids and whatever else. And so I still think overall better.
Well,
than
the other scene's
book,
kind of funny because the other scene is about chasing people as well. It's about the other problem that I have with her is the whole tell thing. And that's just, but those are really nitpicky.
Really quickly, because we gotta steamroll through the rest of this thing. But one actual reason I thought somebody pointed out that I like this is my current headcanon because I like it so much better than any other reason I've seen, is that Lan actually knew about her tell already, and it wasn't really about Nynaeve explaining the tell or whatever it was as to Lan. It was more of convincing Rand, you should go after her.
Convincing Lan.
Whoever I'm trying, whatever. Yeah. But anyway, just a thought.
Yeah, no, that's good.
That's I thought we were going to say better.
Oh, yes.
Or do those two things put her down?
No, they definitely don't. No.
Cauthon Fane. Okay. I'm not gonna open my mouth because I want to know what you think before I say anything.
So, Cauthon Fane, book 2 intro. And you take
book
all
two
the
intro.
Yeah, once you get him in book 2, not the intro, but
those
things in book 2, the way that happens, I have to say that show is not as good as the book.
I'd actually say even book 1.
You say even book 1, he's not as good.
I love Slick Rick, as our friends on another channel are calling him. I think he's doing phenomenal. I think he's one of the best side characters in the show right now, far and away. But and then this is actually really new thoughts because of what this other video I was watching of these people that are doing a first time read through of Eye of the World, and they were talking about, and this is such a good point, that they were talking about the comparison of Thom and Cauthon and their intro of these two very different outsiders coming and doing different things, and Cauthon being this gleeful glee man, but not a gleeman in there and whatever else, and telling stories and being self-important and doing all these things and whatever else, and bringing the whole town together instead of just being this swindler crook for Matt and whatever else. I think that didn't serve Eamon's field as well as the book Cauthon. I think he's at least passable because what we got is so good. At the very least. But that's as of the.
My thoughts on par, but yeah, I think passable's fine too.
Okay.
I definitely don't think he's better.
Yeah.
But yeah. Perrin. I'd
say this is a tricky one because we've already talked basically the same. I basically have everything to say the same thing we said about Layla. Because honestly, if I'm comparing to the way I think about Perrin in the first book, I would honestly put him in the needs some work tier personally, honestly, or whatever else, because he's not as good as what we got in the book. Now what they did, I think, and I agree 100% with what Jonathan was saying. I think what they did with the show was a really good way to do it.
It's not as good as the book.
I
agree with that.
And I think I might bump it up to at least passable because we did finally get him struggling with the way of the leaf and whatever else. The biggest thing that we didn't get from him was we didn't get him struggling with that and some of the and I understand why they did it. It's because of what they did with Layla and all that kind of stuff. But we didn't get that struggle until
Swan. Oh, I'm sorry, Rand.
I don't know that I would put him in garbage tier. If it wasn't for episode 8, I would put him.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he needs some work. Honestly, I feel that strongly about him being down there.
And it goes down to the Dragon Reborn mystery. And I've gone on record multiple times at this point of saying I think that whole bit didn't work. I think he needed more development, and I think they fumbled the ball on leaning so heavily into that. Yeah, keep it there. It's fine.
Okay, Swan.
She's not in the eye of the world.
Nope. So on par? No. I don't even know what.
She might be on par because she is regal and whatever. I mean, we're missing a lot of her character right now, but we
got a lot more than you get in the book.
At least in Eye of the World, for sure. So. I think she's really, really good. Not perfect, but really good.
Compare her to 2 and 3 too. If we pull those books in, I mean, if you get into the intro of 2, which is where you really get to see her, I mean, I think she's on par with that. I enjoy her story. There's a few little things with
some scene choices, like writing choice, but that's not really about the things that I have an issue. Like her first meeting with Nynaeve, I would have liked to seen that gone down like the book, but that's not really a characterization with her as much as it is just a scene writing and so plotting choice essentially.
Steppin'.
So how low do you want to put Steppin'? I don't care.
No, I'm just kidding.
I like episode 5. It has grown. It has continued to grow in my estimation. I think it was really strong. I think you've gone backwards or going the other way around. But
yeah, I'm liking it less and less. But
so what? So he is in the book.
Yeah,
kinda. But he does a lot more. So. I would say he should be higher than that personally, and because of what he does, and this goes back to something I said kind of I think in our live maybe, is his entire purpose is to highlight the bond between Lan and Moiraine.
Yeah,
and I think the funeral scene and all that stuff that's with him is super powerful with him. Definitely not. I don't even know. He's. So what says it's yeah.
All right, so Thom. Yeah.
We're missing a lot of his character. What we got was super strong, though.
I feel like he's here. I feel like he's passable because he's good. We just missed out on so much growth between. It's kind of the same with what we talked about with Moiraine and what we've talked about with Moiraine and Rand in past videos. How there was like this big gap with their relationship, and it's going to need to be filled in the future. And obviously, they have more time to do it now. That's great. Rand and Thom and Matt and Tom's relationship.
He died too quick.
He died way too fast for that relationship to be there. So in my opinion, he's passable at best. Him as a character.
we keep out of half going back and forth on our spoiler levels. Those of you who are paying real close attention.
Well, that's.
No, we've done spoiler through 3, so we don't have to cover and say he died.
Yeah,
but I just thought that was funny.
Yeah.
So if you're playing along at home,
there you go.
You try to follow the spoiler, the bouncing spoiler ball. we warned through spoiler 3.
Yeah,
so there it is.
Yeah, that's what I feel like his characterization and yes, by far, yes. What is her name?
Tigraine.
Tigraine.
That's one of her names.
Yeah.
We won't say more because spoilers.
That's fine.
But,
yeah. Tigraine is definitely better than the book. Just that scene. That's one of the best.
Mostly because we got a really kick butt scene that we don't see in the book.
We just need to make one alteration. Oh, come on. What? There we go. Okay.
I don't know. I think. Well, yeah.
No, you can have whatever thought you want. But that's
all right, then we're gonna.
No, that's got to go down here. Just kidding. No, anyway, Thom's good. What I was trying to say is the characterization, the portrayal of him is phenomenal. It just didn't have enough time.
And so the one thing that makes for me him at least passable, and I might even put him higher, but I'm fine with leaving him there. Is I really, really think his melancholy and some of his more visible maturity this early was really, really good. And his especially with that scene with him and Matt is just so strong. And so I think passable's fine, mostly because we're, like we said with some others, we're missing a lot of stuff with him, but it's really good. Really good. So.
Well, those are our thoughts. How much would you have changed it? I'm sure you would have changed it by a lot.
Yeah.
Who did we get completely wrong? And who did we get right? Who should have been in the garbage tier? That's a question I have.
I'm sure we'll get a few of you say loyal.
Yeah. Hashtag shielded or hashtag
stilled.
Yeah. Shielded. So anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell.
Discord server down in
Discord server is now up. There's only a few of you in there. Come on, get in.
It's been a lot of fun so far.
It has been fun.
Lots of theory crafting and all that stuff.
Yeah, we got a good theory channel going. If you want to support us, there are links, Amazon links in the description. You can go down there and there are affiliate links. Click on those, order anything, and that'll help the channel. I hope you guys have a wonderful day.
Thanks for being here.
Bye.
Bye-bye.